Canada's face is an increasingly diverse one, and nowhere is that more evident than in urban centres. As Canada's second largest city, Montreal is an immigration destination, especially for francophones. But it takes a lot more than language or even a job to integrate into society. But what does integration mean? And how do you accommodate so many different backgrounds and religions in one society? That's the question that launched the Bouchard-Taylor Commission and a media firestorm in Quebec. For 3 months, public consultations were held across the province, giving all Quebecers a voice on reasonable accommodation.
These are interesting times to be living in Quebec.
Interesting because for the first time there was public discussion of what it means to be a Quebecer. Twil Nguyen may be a visible minority, but she's born and bred in Quebec. She attended the hearings and made a submission on behalf of the Centre for Cultural Renewal.
The whole soul-searching effect, the whole all of Quebec society wondering what is happening, who are we, how do we treat our immigrants? Do we agree with this person? Do we not agree? Or how do we treat our immigrants? Well, if I'm an immigrant, how do I treat myself? You know, what am I allowed to ask for? What am I allowed to expect?
Tough questions to answer, and many interpretations, some hurtful.
I would say it was very painful for certain religious communities, people from members of certain religions, and I would say recently newly arrived immigrants.
Religion is a touchy issue in Quebec, a province that has embraced secularism and privatized faith. Many downtown churches here are empty or up for sale. But Nguyen says that in order to be a just society, there needs to be room for people of faith to have a voice, immigrants or not.
It's not easy to live together. I mean, we all have families. We know it's not easy to live together, you know, and every family finds a way. I mean, I would say every, you know, I mean, we all have dysfunctional families almost. It's almost the norm. The question is how dysfunctional, or how do we deal with everything that is broken, that is intolerant? How do we deal with everything that makes us different from one another? And how do we deal with the fact that we're not perfect human beings and that other people get on our nerves?
The Commission has wrapped up hearings and a report is expected soon. Whether or not the Bouchard-Taylor Commission will make any sort of impact is debatable. But one thing is certain, Quebec's newcomers have a lot to contend with. Jobs, education, language, even the weather can be a barrier. That's why One Montreal Group is taking action and helping immigrants get on with life. And it's a fresh approach. Among the fruits, vegetables, and dry goods, immigrants are making themselves at home here.
Action Nouvelle Vie started 14 years ago. It actually started in the Église Nouvelle Vie, in the Nouvelle Vie church, with a one car and one fridge and one freezer.
Things have changed since then. Action Nouvelle Vie is now its own entity, with a food bank, thrift shop, and a mighty big fridge and freezer. So this is the enormous fridge.
Yeah, it is our big fridge, and it's that big because we really need that space to have the food every week.
But it's not just the building that's changed, it's the people coming here. Immigrants make up a large percentage of their clientele. That's why World Vision partnered with Action Nouvelle Vie to create a program called Translate Hope.
The objective of the program is really to help them integrate the Quebecois society and to get integrated in the work market so that they become independent as quick as possible. I think it's trying to understand them, understand their reality, but it's also getting them to know our reality.
In addition to food and clothing, they offer language courses, cultural outings, and counseling for newcomers.
When they come here, usually they call us to see if we can help them. And we ask them to bring proof of their revenues and their expense. And they come here and we meet with them and we take time with them to see how we can help them. And we always start helping them with the food, because we have this big food bank, and it's more or less like the cornerstone of all of our programs.
And it takes a lot of volunteers. Although many sorting through the fruits and vegetables at the warehouse are clients. Here, integration means interaction with others. It also means giving back.
More you know this country, more you feel integrated.
Pilar Engel should know. An immigrant from Chile, she heads up the Translate Hope program. She sees it as something God has equipped her to do.
And he's working with me at the same time how he's working with them.
But there are a lot of hurdles, including disappointment. Malika and her husband were dentists in Algeria. When they got here, that changed.
On était perdus, désemparés. On avait nos diplômes, on pouvait rien faire. On savait pas quoi faire.
She found Translate Hope and was able to meet with a career counselor. Today she's on a different course, but she still has hope.
Mes espoirs, c'est d'arriver à avoir ma place dans ce pays.
And for many, their place is here in this warehouse. It's not just where they can get food and clothing, but friendship.
When they come here, a lot of them will feel isolated. So when they develop friendship like they're doing now, and when they feel part of a family, well, now they have someone to call.
So when families come,
And learning to integrate is a two-way street.
I learned like many things about them, about their reality, about how courageous people they are. Because it's really hard, especially for people who don't know the language. They come here and it's very heavy.
Immigrants are certainly loaded up with a lot of challenges. And Fournier says we can all help to lighten the load. And though faith is what motivates them to action, they don't preach here. But actions speak louder than words.
I don't think he has a distinction between an immigrant or a Quebecer or a Canadian. I mean, all of them are his people. So I think everyone should be treated equally.
And so what about reasonable accommodation and the Bouchard-Taylor Commission? That's not really a debate here. In fact, most of the immigrants I spoke to weren't even aware of it.
No, elle n'est pas au courant. No, she's not worried about that.
She doesn't even know about it.
No.
She just lives her life.
Exactly.
In Montreal, Denise Lodde, 100 Huntley Street.